Yeah, exactly. You can have the best process mapped out in on a PowerPoint presentation you want.
Yeah,
If people aren't doing it, um,
exactly.
so I think the self-service point is really important in that you can really streamline the process, and using modern technology, and whether you've got an intermediary or not, you should be empowering individuals who are buying,
Yeah,
that you should be making their life easier. And
ex-
actually, you should be making their life easier for the supplier as well. Um,
absolutely,
yes, maybe the
absolutely.
work you're doing is more visible, but also it's clearer that you've had acceptance criteria and you've had a milestone approved, and you should be getting paid for it. And you've got terms around that, and everybody knows it's there, it's signed off, it's visible. So having that self-service on a kind of life cycle basis, where you've got suppliers self-serving, buyers self-serving, it gives procurement, and I would see intermediaries, MSP intermediaries, for example, as just augmenting that procurement
Yeah,
function. So whatever that procurement or augmented procurement function looks like, it can lean in or out of the process as much as it wants. So
absolutely.
it could be that you've just got everybody self-serving. They're used to just being very independent. You just say, carry on being independent,
Yeah,
just capture it in this workflow, in this system, and this process.
yeah,
Make it and make that good for them, so that they're getting a good experience. The suppliers are also getting a good experience, and they're finding they can just crack on with it.
yeah.
And they're being and the benefits of being compliant and all this sort of thing tie into that. And then it could be that this procurement element of it, whether it's augmented or not, could actually just maybe have visibility to start with,
Yeah,
or
absolutely.
they can really get involved and actually layer on the controls where necessary. But
Yeah.
just
And
to
I
take,
think this is, and sorry to interject, but I think this is really where that whole piece around first generation client versus second generation client, and I'll kind of explain that in a little bit more detail. So I alluded to this earlier, but when I say first generation client, what I'm ultimately meaning is where you've got an organization that has really, really limited visibility and understanding and insight within what is housed within their statement of work spend category. They, even sort of some of the more fundamental elements, like what is being defined to sit within that SOW spend category. What is it? There's a massive gray area for that. Forget about all of the other elements that come with that. I would say that is what I would refer to as a first generation client, where there's limited understanding of what your spend, what your data, what your organization really is doing within that space. But then with your second generation clients, it's where, you may have slightly more robust processes. You may have a lot more insight and visibility and data available to you within what is housed within that SOW spend category for you as an organization. And I think this is where the key of self-service versus empowering your hiring community, which is ultimately one and the same thing, or bringing in an outsourced party to provide support, or bringing in some support to allow you as an organization within your in-house capabilities to bolster those up and enhance those. I think that first generation versus second generation really is a key factor there for an organization. That would be one of my biggest recommendations when you're looking at your services procurement, your statement of work spend categories, to really take the time to understand and evaluate where within that spectrum of level of maturity that you sit, to then understand what is the first step for me to move up that maturity roadmap to enhance and evolve my processes and enhance and evolve that experience, where they're actually a big bang approach of having self-service to fully empower my hiring community is the best way, because again, I've got a lot of education and awareness already available, and my hiring community and stakeholders are well versed within what should be the lay of the land, versus actually there's not enough and there needs to be a little bit more of upskilling, a little bit more education, a little bit more training and support that's provided, to be able to get that right level of adoption, that right level of change management to move up that maturity roadmap.